before we talk about this, obviously we want to. I understand at one point during the presser today, he was asked about, keeping the door open and potentially still being in charge of Celtic, agreeing to be in charge of Celtic next season, and he didn't shut the door on it. Is that right?
Yes, but it does that. It does the thing he does when he answers the question, then contradicts himself 3 times in the same answer as well. So he didn't. And then we kind of always saying to him, he keeps saying things like, "Oh, you'll not be here. I'll not be here this time next year," and all that stuff. And you go like, "Well, you never know." You're like, so he's Listen, I don't think he'd ever close the door on Celtic in terms of staying in the
I don't
job.
know, Mick. He has done. I think that's a shift. I think and he does this. And you're right. And we're left to guess and kind of pick it apart and wonder what the real meaning is behind it. But I think he's been fairly emphatic on the fact that previously this this can't go on indefinitely. This won't go on indefinitely. It's to the end of the season. He got to a point in his first time in interim charge where the messaging seemed to change. You think, wait a second here, could this go on
Yeah.
longer term? It did go on a bit longer term. And if this is another slight shift where he's just not shooting down, because he did sort of shoot it down earlier, I just wonder if he's becoming more open to the idea. And I wonder if, depending on what's Celtic's success rate looks like between now and the end of the season, if we might be having this similar conversation again. I just find it quite interesting that he didn't shoot that one down in flames, because I think he has done a couple of times previously. That suggests to me the slightest shift, although he always says it, as you said, and then reverses and then 180s and all sorts of stuff.
I think he enjoys it. I mean, I think he does enjoy
Yeah,
this. He always says he doesn't enjoy it, and it's always nerve wracking, and he hates it. And all. He makes the usual kind of jokes, but I think he does actually revel it. And
yeah.
he certainly enjoys winning games. That's for sure. And that's what he does best. If Celtic got himself in a mess in the summer and couldn't get a manager, and they said to him, "Can you stay on?" I think he would. Yeah, you're right. I think he would say, "Yeah, we would go for it." You've also got to bear in mind he's 74 in a fortnight. He's actually just turned 74 on March the 1st, which is a slightly kind of big game at Ibrox that day. So that's a birthday. Ibrox. When he's 74. But listen, Harry Redknapp was talking about coming back at 78 last week at Spurs, wasn't he? He was telling himself that job. I just think he's got so much on his plate just now to deal with. I mean, he's got 12 games left in the league. This is huge. Miss European matches, I think, are a wee bit of a distraction, to be honest. He's at the Scottish Cup as well. But if you're asking if I think he would be up for it, I don't really doubt he would be. I think by the way, he's got some stamina. I mean, I must admit, I asked him the other week, I was kind of half jokingly asking if he watched the Super Bowl, because I know he likes his NFL, and he goes, yeah, I stood up and watched to the last quarter when it was all done and dusted. And I was kind of joking. I was like, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. I said, that was my bed. I'm only covering you guys, and I'm shattered. He's sitting watching that till 2 o'clock in the morning before training.
But Mick, he doesn't want to go to sleep because remember he sees your face in his dreams.
Well, that's maybe
right.
maybe he's just trying to fight it off. You're right. Watching Freddy Krueger.
Well, look, maybe we can actually hear from Martin O'Neill a little bit earlier on today. Hear the man himself. Let's hear what he said.
And just on your 1000th game, I know when you came for your second sort of interim stint, if you want to call it that, you were quite adamant that you would just be here till the summer. But with every passing week, there's more victories and there's more progress in competitions. You're cutting the gap at the top of the league. Is there any circumstance come the summer where if the club wanted to look at maybe a sort of continuity appointment, given how tumultuous the manager upheaval has been this season, would you be open, now that you've been in Celtic for the second time a while now and you've had a look underneath the bonnet, would you be open to continuing your stay beyond the summer?
I really genuinely think that's too far in the future for me. Genuinely too far in the future. I wouldn't think it. And you mentioned about the 1,000 games. If you'd seen my early matches at Leicester City in late 95, early 96, you'd have got long odds of me doing 1,000 games in that time. So, but back to your point, I think that it is far too far in the future. It's like, to me, it's a long way away, and how I might feel today might be totally different in 10 days' time. We've got a lot of games here. We've got a lot of work to do. And if we fall by the wayside, which we could easily do, I don't think we'd even have been having any sort of discussion.
In the
That
comments,
wasn't a no.
Aye, no, in the comments, Marzuno says Martin O'Neill will be Celtic manager next year, 100%. He says the board are caught in a trap. They won't want to make the same mistake twice. Alan says Martin O'Neill knows the club needs stability. He'll be moved upstairs to director of football role and a new manager sought out in place for pre-season. Chick says Martin Lewis for manager. He's good working with a budget. Mo says Martin O'Neill's a figurehead. Maloney doing the day-to-day stuff. Craig says he wants the Motherwell manager ahead of Martin O'Neill. I think, for what it's worth, it will be Martin O'Neill next year. I just think there's so much work to do, an entire rebuild. He's already in the door. Maybe he's the best man to start it. I don't know.
I think we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah,
But I do think, and I think that's why Martin O'Neill's answering that question the way that he has done, although it is slightly different language. But I do think there's an issue, and it's a great issue for Celtic if they end this season with another title and with a Scottish Cup. Do you really at that point say, thanks very much, Martin, off you pop? Where's Wilfred Noncy Mark II? I'm not sure that you do. So I think it could be entirely, the whole kind of parameters of the conversation will be entirely dependent upon what happens between now and May. But if he was to end this season with a league title and or a Scottish Cup, it becomes, I think the context of the conversation changes significantly.
What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, aye. I mean, Celtic at the moment seem to be kind of, I'm not saying rudderless, but they need to get their act together and think what's going to be the long-term plan at the club. At the moment, they're just treading water and trying to stay above water and stay in this title fight in Scottish Cup. I mean, does Martin O'Neill part of the long-term strategy for the next 2, 3, 5 years? You've got to say it's a bit unlikely, really. I don't think there'll be many complaints if he's still in charge in terms of supporters. I mean, you look at the results he's pulled off. But I just think that Celtic should really be thinking about who's going to be taking charge of the next cycle for Celtic. This is the end of a kind of Celtic cycle. It's the end of the kind of the Postecoglou, Rodgers kind of years. There's a lot of changes required in the summer. There's a massive rebuild required in the summer in terms of players leaving and needing to come in. I just think if they end up with Martin still in charge, then I think they might have taken a misstep in terms of where they're looking. But like I say, I mean, the punters would probably lap it up.